Hello, everyone, and now my notes just went away. Welcome to Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. You are indeed in the right place. It is 8:01, and you are attending Public Health and Safety Committee meeting. Calling the meeting to order. Roll call. I see Peter Agabi and Kelly Von Holtz are with me, and myself are Lietta Dahlhoff. We are going to adjust the agenda for a second before we get to item 3 and 4. So thank you, Frankie Peters, for your patience. While we do this, we're going to do elections for the chair for the next 2 years. So I believe in rotational leadership, and I have had the privilege to be chair, and it has been amazing, and I love this committee. And so thankfully the mayor continued to assign me this committee. And I would like to nominate Peter Agabi to be chair for the next 2 years. You don't need a second, but are there any other nominations from the floor? Seeing Kelly stay mute, I see her not making a nomination. That was my second call. Third call, anyone else who is not showing their face would like to make a nomination from the floor. Seeing none, that was 3 times following Robert's rules. All in favor of Peter Agabi being chair of Public Health and Safety for the next 2 years, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Peter, congratulations. Thank you for your service and dedication to our community, and I love seeing you and working with you on public health and safety. Take over the meeting.
So before we go, just where we discuss the pay increase.
Peter, there's no pay increase. You just get extra meetings, and you're welcome for this opportunity.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And thank you for the confidence in me to be the chair of the Public Health and Safety Committee for the next 2 years, I suppose. So our agenda for today is very light. I do have on the next agenda, because we switch our agenda around, we did roll call, we did call to order. So the third item on the agenda is the district court update by Lisa Park and Frankie Peters, Thurston County District Court Executive Officer.
Thanks so much, Peter, and it's good to see everybody, and Kelly too. I know that we get to see each other once a month. It's good to see you here. And thanks for having me, Frankie Peters, Court Executive Officer for the Thurston County District Court. I think the last time that I joined everybody was a little over a year ago, so it's good to provide another update, especially with all the changes that have been happening over the last year. And Peter, I heard you say Lisa. Is Lisa going to jump in for anything on this, or do you want me to just start giving some updates and being as brief as I can?
No, Frankie, this is your show. Go ahead.
Perfect. Well, I know last time we met, I mean, there's so much to talk about for district court and the services provided for the city of Tumwater. We can go on for hours. I'm going to try keeping that short. So if there are any questions, feel free to interrupt me at any point. I know there's a couple of things that we touched on last year that I wanted to give updates on. Generally, just for everybody's background, Thurston County District Court, along with every district court and municipal court across the state of Washington, is a court of limited jurisdiction. So we're handling misdemeanors, civil cases, infractions. Our court gets about 35,000 filings every single year, generally. So that's kind of one of the reasons why our court level is referred to as the People's Court. If somebody's going to have involvement with the judicial branch, it's most likely going to be us. And looking at some of the numbers, just because I'm a data guy, I like going back and looking over the years at what some of the trends are. And I was happy to see some of the trends, especially for the city of Tumwater. For those that don't know, so over 2022, there was quite an increase across the state of Washington, and up to about 30%, if I recall correctly, in DUI cases. So there was quite the increase there. When we look at city of Tumwater, though, our numbers have actually continued to slowly decline. There's been less filings from the city of Tumwater that have been coming into the court. And I think that aids to a lot of the great work that the chief and his teams and everybody at the city has been doing to improve public safety. So it's been really great to see those numbers. And I think as far as access for those that are utilizing the services of the courts. We're continuing with what we've been doing over the last, geez, it's been 4 years now, right? Since COVID kind of started. So that kind of fast tracked a lot of our open access to the courts and availability for court services to all of our community members. Within a couple weeks of COVID hitting, we ended up live streaming all of our court proceedings so that anybody can tune in at any time, as well as providing virtual options for people to attend those hearings. And we've been able to look back at those numbers too, and have been fortunate to see that, especially with our virtual capabilities, everybody being able to zoom in for a court docket has actually decreased our failure to appear and warrant rates. We are having more people appear for court matters. So that way our law enforcement can focus on active crimes that are happening as opposed to searching for people that didn't miss their, or that missed their court date. So I think that's really great to have more involvement for those that are justice involved and being able to access the courts and proceed through their cases in a timely manner. And we continue even to this day to still stream all of our live proceedings on YouTube as well. We encourage everybody to jump on, check out the courts. It's one of those things that not a lot of people get an opportunity to kind of witness what goes on within the courtroom day in and day out. So we want to make sure that we have that available to our community, even if it's for educational purposes, even if it's somebody that isn't justice involved. I think it's really important that we continue to educate on the judicial branch and what our function is within the community. So I think that's been a really great thing for us. As far as some of the programs that we had discussed previously, just a quick update. We have a substance monitoring program that we started in June of 2022. And I know we had just started talking about what that, and while I don't have specific numbers for City of Tumwater, I still wanted to provide some background on this program. What it is we noticed early on that when people come into court, say they're coming in for a driving while under the influence, a judge wants to assess that person that is justice involved, ensure that there's no risk to the community, while also trying to reduce the amount of people that are put into jail. We know that putting somebody in a jail isn't going to help them further. What that is an alternate that ensures community safety. We wanted to provide another alternate to jail that can still ensure safety of the community while ensuring that that citizen's able to stay active in job force, take care of their families, and everything like that. So what this is we essentially, in the short way of saying it, will pay for their alcohol monitoring device. So that way they don't have to pay for it. What we noticed is that when somebody comes in for a DUI charge, say, they would have to pay previously $13 to $15 every single day. 80% of the people that come to our court are indigent, so they don't have the ability to pay these. What we'd do is we'd end up seeing these people before the court in violation of their court order conditions, saying, I just can't pay this. Well, what's the other alternative? Putting them into jail. So we wanted to provide other options that are available to, again, ensure community safety and make sure that they can still stay active in our community and take care of what they need to. And it's been really successful through that program. We've already served just shy of 500 people. We've actually seen our jail populations reduce for district court related matters. And one of the things that I've appreciated looking at as we start jumping into the statistics is the daily compliance rate that we have for this program is at a 98.9%. So it is extremely high. Though our case management system doesn't have the data capabilities that we do now, I would also argue with that since providing this program, compliance with these court ordered conditions has actually increased. So it's been really great to see how implementing a program like this that just takes that financial burden off of people that are justice involved has such a direct impact on not only community safety, but keeping, like I said, the citizens involved in their daily lives. So it's been really great to see that from this program. Jumping over to Mental Health and Veterans Court, and again, interrupt me at any point. I know I'm going through this, a lot of information, super quick. Mental health.
Frankie, I
Yeah.
did, well, now that you said that, I mean, so you said that that program for the substance monitoring program started June last year. Is that a pilot or is that going to be permanent?
It was June of 2022, so
22.
we've been a year and a half into it. It was started as a pilot program. We were successful in getting funding through 2024, so until December of this year. Right now, it's currently funded through the American Rescue Plan Act, and that funding will be going away. So we are working very closely with our county and identifying other funding sources to keep that going. We have a lot of support from prosecutors, from defense, from other departments and offices within the county to keep this program going, especially county commissioners. So there's been a lot of success and there's a strong drive to keep this program going. It's just, where are we going to find that funding source?
Thank you, Frankie.
Absolutely. For Mental Health and Veterans Court, we discussed last year when we were kind of going through some of the numbers as far as the number of participants, there was a little bit of a decline once COVID ended up hitting. We were at about 11 participants for a city of Tumwater pre-COVID. That dropped a little bit with some program changes and then of course COVID and getting people into the program. And the last time we talked, we had 5 participants in there and I told everybody, oh, we're going to start seeing that go up. And we did. Currently we have 9 participants within the program. And what I've been happy to see about it is we've made some changes within the program to ensure that we have space available for veteran services as well. Typically we have our whole caseload that's going to include mental health specific and Veterans Court. Veterans Court is an offshoot of Mental Health Court that has those veteran specific services. And what we found previously is if you just have everybody come in, it's going to overwhelm that mental health specific side. And we're not serving as much of those veteran services as we could be. So we made some programmatic changes that allow those openings in there so that we can get more veteran services, more participants in there that are veterans. And we've seen that increase. So where, say in 2019, 9 City of Tumwater cases were mental health court, 2 were Veterans Court. Right now, we have a pretty even split with 5 being mental health court and 4 being Veterans Court. So we're happy to see that transition in that service. So that we have that equal service provided to everybody that has that opportunity. And then finally transitioning over to probation for Thurston County District Court. Probation is a court service. I know when I say the word probation, a lot of people think generally gun and badge, knocking on a door, making sure there's no alcohol above your fridge, or sitting at a bar, making sure that somebody doesn't walk in there and violate them. We don't do the gotcha game for our probation services. That's just not the way that our probation operates. What we're here to do is to provide resources and support in being compliant with their conditions. Yes, we want them to be accountable, but what we also want to do is have our counselors there for each of the clients that are coming in to provide resources for housing, for the job and labor market. We've even worked with families and rebuilding relationships. We've worked with some of the parents and finding childcare. Everything that you can think of, we are there to support them in any way that we can to ensure that they're successful. Because what we found is you provide these resources, you provide these services, that's where you're going to get the compliance with the court-ordered conditions. You can't expect somebody to get all the way through their treatment needs if they're not going to have the housing resources or job resources that are necessary to support themselves and their family. So we really took a proactive approach in supporting every single one of the people that are coming before us. Now that's with our supervised probation. One of the things that I will point out is Thurston County this year, unfortunately had some budget cuts due to the amount of revenue coming into the county and the increase in cost for services. And there was a dollar amount associated with that for district court. Unfortunately, probation is the only non-mandated service of our court and the only place where any cut could take place. So right now, our supervised probation isn't available. We aren't providing any supervised probation for our general caseload that's coming in. Some of those are going over to a monitored caseload, which is basically us doing records checks and making sure that they're sending in any compliance reports or treatment reports that they need to. But unfortunately, right now, we don't have the ability, the staffing or the full-time employees to support every single person that's coming in that stage of the case that we did before. That's something that we're going to keep talking with our county and commissioners about and seeking funding to get those resources back, just because it has been such a valuable resource to everybody that has been justice involved. So hopefully more to come on that one. But along the same lines, what we were able to secure was an additional mental health probation position. What we did in 2019 is recognize the successes that our mental health and veterans court had and wanted to expand that into another life cycle of the case. That post-disposition, post-resolution, after somebody has entered a guilty plea, they're put on those conditions of release. And we recognized that we need to find a way to continue to provide these mental health services to those justice involved at every stage of a case. And probation, that post-disposition, has been one of those kind of gaps, one of those forgotten realms that we wanted to make sure that we could address. So we started our mental health probation division that provides those very, very similar resources as our mental health and veterans court does at that life cycle of the case. We were able to get a second mental health probation counselor. So we're very excited about that, of course, because of the high intensive need of this position. The caseload may not be as large as it would be for a general supervised probation. But it's really great opportunity for us to really blend what mental health and veterans court is and what mental health probation is in order to continue to provide a very, very valuable service to those that are coming in and seeking those resources for compliance with treatment needs, mental health needs, again, housing, family relationships. The list continues. So we're very excited about that opportunity moving forward. And especially with programs such as this and supporting our community, we want to remain as progressive as we can. So very excited about that. And I think that is my down and dirty, a lot of information in a very short time.
Frankie, can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
Thank you. It would be awkward if you said no. Looking at, noting the budgetary constraints and noting that the supervised probation is not being provided, are those responsibilities being put on other groups, or is it completely is there with regarding to your safety net of the services and the touch points, and I like your phrase, the life cycle of a case, how is that removal of supervised probation being accounted for in other areas?
The short answer is it's not. So with probation, it's a very specifically trained and supported role and provided supervised probation. We don't have any staff that has the ability to kind of absorb those roles and responsibilities. All of our other mandated services are covered through the courtrooms and customer service and keeping the record. Everything else is fully supported by all of our other staff. We don't have the ability to, like I say, absorb that into other positions. So right now for supervised probation, it just doesn't exist until we can get more positions in to support that resource.
I appreciate that background. Thank you. Because a lot of times when we do cuts, other people absorb those. So it just shows how necessary, needed, and switching that to a mandated service versus what it is now. So thank you, Frankie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that comment too. It's actually a statewide conversation right now is what probation services are because it's changed so much. It's not just Thurston County. We are one of the more, from what I've seen, progressive counties in probation and how we're providing services to our communities. But it's something that's spreading very quickly across the state about the need for probation. Again, it's just another stage, another life cycle of the case where we want to continue to provide these resources, and other courts are starting to recognize that and expand those services. So it's a conversation that we've had. There's statute, there's court rule that supports probation services, but it just hasn't gotten to the extent of that being a mandated service that we hope that the recognition of the importance of this starts being recognized so that we can provide this more holistically.
Thank you, Frankie.
Absolutely.
So Frankie, I have a question, just a clarification. With the passage of the public safety levy last year, do you anticipate, although too many qualifiers, do you anticipate that the probation services will at least be allocated some money since it has been so successful?
My understanding through the Proposition 1 is that for the county, 75% of that will end up going to sheriffs, law enforcement. Then the 25% remaining ends up being separated between auditors, public defense, and prosecutors. At this time, there hasn't been any funding allocated from that 100% for Prop 1 on the county level for the courts. So there isn't any direct impact that we can see from that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Frankie, I just wanted to thank you for this update. I really love this approach. People who are justice involved, how they got in justice involved is just one piece of it. So I really love to see how this wraparound approach is happening. So I really appreciate this update.
Thanks so much, Kelly. And I really appreciate all of our justice partners too. We've really extended the communication level that we've had, staying more involved in this entire process, because I think that's one of the issues that we have made. I've had years and years and years ago is there's law enforcement, there's prosecutors, there's attorneys, then there's the courts. Well, we're all one justice system that can support our communities, and we all need to work together in order to provide that support. It doesn't need to just be one siloed approach. Once we start that communication and we start learning what each are doing and how those connect, we can provide a better service to our community. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to.
Thank you very much, Frankie.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. Thanks for having me.
You have a great day.
You too.
So we have item number 4, Fire Department Staffing Adjustment. Brian Hawley.
Thank you, council members. Just have a brief presentation here today. I'm going to share my screen if you'll allow me to do that. Okay, there we go. Is everybody seeing that all right? Okay, just a few slides here. We're in a situation, I just wanted to first show what our current fire department staffing is here, and then I'll relay a little bit on the ask here. We have 53 authorized FTEs in the fire department, and you can see the distribution there. You know, the ones that fluctuate periodically are the number of firefighters and the number of firefighter paramedics. Just as far as onboarding, availability of paramedics is a real issue, but right now we're at our 53 FTEs. For 2024, we know we're going to have 3 retirements: our fire prevention officer and 2 firefighter paramedics. And you can see long-term employees serve the city well and have very deserved retirements coming up. So that's 3 known vacancies. You know, as far as entry-level folks, there'll be also promotions that'll trickle down and cause entry-level vacancies as well. So what we're here to request today is that we temporarily increase our allotted number of FTEs from 53 to 56. And again, this is not for new permanent positions. And some of the considerations in doing that are that it takes, roughly 6 to 12 months to onboard a new employee, including their academy. If they're not an emergency medical technician, getting them through that emergency medical technician training. So it's, much like police, it's not quite as long as police, but it takes quite a bit of time to onboard a new employee. So as far as, funding for this, we did have, because of the open positions, a bit of salary savings in 2023 that we can carry over into 2024 that we're hopeful will cover the additional costs of overlap of employees. But if needed, we would request a budget amendment. Really, the idea is to bring these folks on board and have them trained and ready to go as other employees are retiring. We just will have their replacements ready. And that really, in the long run, reduces overtime costs because we still have to staff 11 positions per day, and also reduces the stress on current employees who are working those additional hours. So really, that's the presentation. The request is to temporarily increase the number of FTEs from 53 to 56, and certainly we anticipate through the course of the year, it will go back down to 53. Questions? Councilmember Dahlhoff. Let me stop sharing here. Yeah.
Thank you,
There we
Chief.
go.
I'm just wondering, it could be I was taking notes and didn't hear it. What is the time frame? And you said training sometimes could be 6 months to 12 months. So what's the overlap? Like, how long do you want the additional FTEs?
Yeah, it's really, it really depends on when we can hire and get people in the academy. And
Right?
then we need to know the actual retirement dates for some of these folks too. So the overlap period isn't quite clear yet. But we've got academies starting very soon. So we want to get folks on board and get them into those academies. There's one in Lacey and one at North Bend, and those opportunities only come up a few times a year. So we really want to get someone in academy now so we can get them started in that process.
Thank you. Peter, I'm in support of this. So if you want someone to make a motion, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, one clarification real quick. So in terms of logistic, if you bring me on board as a temporary staff, and you're going to let me go when you find your actual staff, do you think I will be able to find people who are willing to step into the temporary position readily?
Yeah, the positions are temporary. The employees we hire will be the permanent replacements. It's
Okay.
just that we want to bring them on board, send them to academy, and have them ready to go as the employees retire to fill the permanent position. So it's not a temporary position. Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
So having said that, I motion for Chief Hawley's temporary hiring of 3 additional fire staff pending when they know. So get this straight, Peter. So
Peter, you can just read
motion-
on the packet,
Yeah.
the recommended action.
Oh, well, I was looking at the agenda. So I submit a motion for Chief Hawley's request that we forward to the full council 3 additional staff to be hired on temporary basis pending when the date of the current staff that will be relinquished to the position are known.
Kelly, do you want to second that?
I'll second.
So any opposition? On that note, Chief, your request is
We have to
approved.
vote,
Be
Peter.
moved.
We have to vote. We have to vote.
We have to vote? Okay, well, on that note, I stand corrected. If you approve of Chief Hawley's request that this
All those in favor of the
Passes.
motion?
okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Aye. So Chief, the motion carried unanimously, and we are going to forward this to full council. I don't know how that is done, but I am here to learn, so I'll find out.
You're golden.
Yeah, great. We'll prepare the staff report and get it on the agenda for council next week then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Have a great day. So we move to item number 5, additional item. So I do have an additional item, but I would like to hear from anybody that have additional item first before we proceed to my additional item.
Well, it depends on what your additional item is, if we have additional items.
Well, my additional item is a proposal for our meeting time change and our meeting date. So we have one option for the time change. I have been told that there has been a request. Currently, we have an hour for our meeting. I have been told that there's a request to extend that to 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. So that is one. And then 2, should we keep the same time or the same date? So those are the 2 additional items that I have.
Perfect. Kelly, do you want to go first about what your preference is?
I'm fine with extending to 90 minutes, and I'm also fine with keeping it the same dates that we already have.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, Peter, with Kelly. 90 minutes is sufficient, and this date from 8 to 9:30 works as well.
Okay, it works with me too. So on that note, does anybody have any objection?
Any other staff?
No.
Does this continue to work with staff? I think, is that the question?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. That works for the police department.
We're fine at fire too. Thank you.
Okay, on that note, so going forward for the next 2 calendar years, our meeting will be held on Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month, from 8 o'clock to 9:30 a.m.
Could I request
Karen?
do that with the motion and a vote, please?
Okay, all right. So if you're in favor of changing our time from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock to 8 to 9:30 in the morning.
Peter,
on
can
Tuesdays.
I make a motion?
Sure.
I move that the public health and safety meetings continue to be held on the second Tuesday of the month from 8 to 9:30 a.m. virtually.
I'll second.
Any opposition? So call for the vote. So Kelly,
All those
what do
in
you say?
favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So haven't done that. Henceforth, our meeting will be on second Tuesday of the month from 8 o'clock to 9:30 a.m. And we will move to, I guess that was the only additional item. Does anybody have any other items before we adjourn?
I think you did a wonderful job sharing your first public health and safety meeting.
Thank you. So on that note, I hear that we don't have any other item then. Is that true? Going 1, going 2? Okay, on that note, I think we are adjourned, and we will see you again next month.
Or you mean later
And-
today?
Well, yeah, that too. So you guys have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank
Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.